Stacey Dash, Kanye West, and Odell gets choked out. Let's get it.
Welcome to the Two Random Podcast. Tired of subscribing to 100 different podcasts?
Yeah.
SirXpress and ISpeakMotivate eliminate boredom while giving you their commentary on breaking news, movies, music, and so much more.
Going down, man.
Subscribe today and rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts now.
I always follow them.
Random is the only solution. Two Random Podcast starts in 3, 2, 1.
What's goody good? I'm SirXpress.
And I'm ISpeakMotivate. And thank you guys for coming to the podcast, listening to the podcast. But we have a lot of topics today. And the first one is that clueless actress Stacey Dash was arrested in Florida for domestic assault.
This is... It's weird for the simple fact I did grow up. Me and my brothers, we did watch Clueless.
They probably all had crushes on her and things like that.
I ain't gonna lie.
Because she's a beautiful woman.
I had a crush on her and the lead character. What was her name?
Yeah, I don't know.
I forgot her name. But that's how much I don't have a crush on her no more. But seriously, it's kind of weird seeing situations like this come up. Everybody, most likely, all dudes probably had a crush on her. But to see this coming up to where she's going to jail for domestic abuse or getting arrested, shall I say, for domestic abuse, it's kind of crazy because she don't look like the girl that would be domestically abusive.
But the thing is, abuse has no type, it has no gender, it has no anything. The thing is with this is that people are unsure about the story of like what truly is going on, because initially in the 911 call, she was saying that like her stepdaughter was coming in her face like cursing and acting crazy, and she pushed the girl out the way. Then her husband, I believe his last name is Mr. Marty, y'all can look that up, put her in a chokehold or what have you. So she proceeded to call the police. Mm-hmm. Okay. So during the phone call, he's like, I can't believe you did this. I got scratches and this everywhere. And she's like, no, you have to realize you have to take control of your children. You're crazy. And you're crazy. Your children are crazy. That's where they get the violence from you. So this is what she's saying over the line. So long story short, the police officers come over and they ask her, oh, what do you do for work? And she was like, well, I was a former actress, but I took a break. That is quite a break from the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
And she said I was a Fox News, political contributor for a time. So she was saying that she did that. And then the cop was like, oh, cool. So she was confused. She was like, am I being arrested? Because I was like on the body cam. Am I getting arrested? And the thing is, they said they had to arrest her due to a formality, due to the call. And because her husband had the scratch marks on her because she reportedly slapped him and pushed him due to self-defense from the chokehold that she states that he did to her, allegedly.
See,
so
the thing is, she is a darker complected woman.
Right.
So it might not show up on her like it would on a lighter complected person.
And then especially if it's quick. Mm-hmm. If it's like a nice quick one and it's not a deafening
exactly
a grip, you can get away with choking someone without there being marks on them, if you do it quick enough, just enough to get someone scared and to put that fear in them. Mm-hmm. So, the thing is she came back out because I think she said that TMZ reported her wrong, that she didn't say he put her in a chokehold, and they were like, well, we listened to the 911 call, and that's what you said, and it did say in the 911 call, listen to it as well, that her husband did put her in a chokehold. So it was like her representative was saying that, oh no, there's false information and things like that. She was put in a jail in Florida and $500 bail. And what? I believe her husband spoke on only her. 500? Yeah, because for battery and stuff, they don't really.
Person would have been in jail still over probably 500,000. No,
because of this is a situation when it comes to domestic violence and battery. A lot of victims, with abusive partners, say that they are in and out. It's a real. I mean, that's why a lot of domestic violence victims don't even bother calling 911, because of the fact that they know they'll be there the next day and they'll be even madder and end up doing more damage to them and hurting them worse. It is with the justice system when it comes to domestic violence. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound type situation. Like, oh, let me babysit you in jail. That's you have a little timeout. And then you come back. So that's pretty much what domestic violence, which the people need to take seriously.
Good analysis.
Thank you, man. So, the whole thing is, so now she's denying about the chokehold, even though it was a 911 thing. I believe when I was reading that her husband spoke on her behalf. He didn't press any charges. So I believe, I don't know the state or whatever, or the local authorities press charges on her, but I think she's okay now and she's at home, I believe. And they were like, oh, y'all just blew everything out of proportion. And that's what she's saying now, that everybody else is blowing things out of proportion, but she's the one who called 911. So it's just like a thing. Exactly. So, and then she said that he had the chokehold, then deny it. But then sometimes victims of domestic violence will, they will deny the pain or something like that. And then with him, it could be the same. With him speaking on her behalf, it could be where he's still in love with her. And he could be fearful too, because they don't talk about domestic violence against men as well. So, you can be brainwashed either way, whether the abuser is a male or female. So we don't know. We weren't there at all. And since she said it wasn't like a really big deal, I wonder if this is commonplace. People did state that this is her 4th marriage. So that's kind of like, I don't want to say kind of telling, but 4 marriages in, what was going on? Did you have domestic violence from those previous marriages? Is that a reason why it's not working? Is it a thing where she just needs to work on herself and work with herself and get some personal healing, so that when she gets in another relationship or in the current marriage that she's on, it's just not healthy. It's just not healthy to start putting. I really feel like it's not healthy to be with a person where you feel like you have to physically go to blows and things like that. So I'm wondering if she's gonna get. She needs to. Him and her need to go to counseling individually and together, because that's not healthy, especially having children in the home and thinking that's a commonplace situation. You don't want the children to grow up in that environment.
Exactly.
So we're praying that it becomes a healthy environment for the children and for them. And if either one of them are unsafe, the husband or Stacey, because we weren't there, we don't know who the true offender was.
Or they could be telling the truth at the end and that nothing actually happened. But you never know. You know, sometimes people just call the cops because they feel like that's the only thing they could do.
So we don't know. So, and this is something that's crazy.
What?
Smackdown.
Oh, speaking of fighting, huh?
Speaking of fighting, now it's somebody that's coming back that recently got married that we spoke about in the podcast, I think a few weeks ago, I believe.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
That is your favorite saying to say every time. You never switch up the sayings.
Well, that was his favorite saying.
Yeah, but you never switch
What,
up.
call you
switch
a
it
jabroni?
up. Okay.
I'm just saying.
On that note, Dwayne Johnson, he tweeted, "Finally, I come back home to my at WWE Universe this Friday night. I'll return for our debut of Smackdown live on Fox TV. There's no greater title than hashtag the People's Champs. And there's no place like home. Tequila on me after the show. Hashtag if you smell. Mic emoji. Hashtag Smackdown. Hashtag Rock Show. Hashtag Fox."
Laid the smackdown on him. But guys, this is kind of cool. You know, The Rock was there when I first started watching wrestling, you know, and that's awesome to see him coming back for at least
the Smackdown
one day, you know, especially being Smackdown. He the one that coined Smackdown. When he was saying, "I would lay the Smackdown on your candy patootie." But it's just one of those things where, you know, you get to see some of the old school guys coming back lately. We was actually watching Raw today, and
Hulk
Hogan was there,
as
and
well
so
as
was Ric Flair. You know, you got that Ric Flair drip.
Exactly.
You know what
Ric Flair, he is doing his thing. And I love Hulk Hogan. The thing is when it comes to The Rock coming back, this man is booked and busy, okay?
Booked and busy.
He has been on his, and then he got married, which I'm so happy he did.
I think they said they've been trying to book The Rock for a minute in WWE, and they finally got him to come. And I guess it's because it was SmackDown.
And then that coin had to be right.
Coin had to be
I feel like it's a difference when he first started, you know what I'm saying, to now, because now your rates change. You're more in demand, so it becomes a check thing. Now we got to negotiate. We going back and forth. And then we meet somewhere in the middle, and now I can come on there now.
You know, and then, you know, the deal with Fox, it gave WWE a lot of money. So by it having, you know, a lot of money coming towards them, now they're able to spend a little bit of money on other things. Because I seen pyro being used today, and I ain't seen that in a minute.
What?
Like, they were using fireworks and stuff. I was like, oh, so WWE trying to come back with the good stuff.
Right, because that's the reason I stopped watching it. And a lot of people, because AEW is coming out, I think WWE's a little bit scared. Bringing all these old heads back, because that's when I loved it. When the old heads were there, the Attitude Era, everything. Yeah, I love grittiness, period. I even say that about football. Because I was like, what's going on? It seems like they're getting softer now, but now I realize because of the CTE,
you know,
they're putting more rules to put everybody, safe.
It's crazy, though, because when I was over here watching, it's like they're definitely trying to get more gritty, because there was a beginning of the show, Rey Mysterio's out there, he's talking, Brock Lesnar comes, interrupts him, and then puts an F5 on him. But once he does that, then he goes out and gets Rey Mysterio's son and attacks him. Now, Rey Mysterio's son ain't part of WWE. He's a teenager still.
Okay.
So I know that they most likely they had to get permission. There's no way Rey Mysterio is gonna let his son get hurt. So they had to get permission from both of them that it will be okay.